Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico, bringing y'all a very special edition of Rico Report. I wanted to predict the starters for week 1 against the Eagles. Now, huge preface, week 1 is going to look different from week 10. Even excluding injuries, there's just veterans right now that are more ready than the younger guys. So there are going to be some veterans starting week 1 that, even if fully healthy, more than likely won't start week 10. Just because by then the young guys will be ready to step up. At least I'm assuming so. Especially since the younger guys are better fits for either Jack Del Rio's defense or Scott Turner's offense. But as of today, they're just not ready for various things. Pass protection, knowing the offense, just various things like that. So week 1 will look different than week 10. And I probably will halfway through the season. Or maybe even before then, soon after this video comes out, I'll do like a week 10 prediction. But for now, we're sticking to week 1 versus the Eagles, which happens in less than 2 weeks. September 13th, that's a Sunday of course, 1 p.m. The Eagles at Landover to play the Burgundy and Gold on Fox, if anybody cares. But I wanted to give my starting predictions with illustrations so you can see what it would look like. I don't want to just talk and y'all just looking at me. I want y'all to see what it looks like on the field. So without further ado, let's go ahead and huddle up. Y'all already know. Make sure y'all go buy the best Burgundy and Gold merch money can buy. Just go hit the link in the description under Go Get Street Scores merch. Also, make sure you go become a channel member to the best sports YouTube channel out here doing it. Go to the link in the description under become a channel member. Also, make sure y'all check out my other weekly shows. On Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. every Thursday, I have a show, phone number in the description, where you can call in and participate in the show. You call in, you voice your opinion, you ask your questions, all of that type of stuff. And Friday nights, 8 to 10 p.m., you already know that's my podcast, live podcast with my friends and my cousins, and we talk about everything. Lately, of course, it's been more NBA centered because that's what's going on, but we talk about everything. Anime, gaming, fragrances, plants, what's going on in the news right now, all of it. And then y'all already know, every Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m., make sure y'all pull up to the Street Scores Full Access, where I reply to every comment in the live chat. So if you want to reply from me, pull up to that Sunday live stream, 2 to 4 p.m. every Sunday. And of course, when the regular season hits, those Sunday live streams will be replaced. Wherever you dream about barking at, you better get them. These off-season Sunday live streams will turn into watching the game live streams. I won't be able to reply to every comment because most of my attention is on the game, but I will still be in the comment section. But pull up and make sure you watch all of the games with me every Sunday, because most of our games are Sunday 1 p.m. anyway, which is perfect for me. And if a game's on Thursday or Monday night, I'm live streaming then also. I will also come out with some game previews throughout the season, and I definitely want to have some game review live streams where after the game, I take an hour break, come back, and I give y'all a chance to call into the show live on YouTube, and we can just discuss what happened in the game and all of that. Your favorite players, your worst players, all of that type of stuff. All right, now, let's get it. Alright, so first of all, I want to start with the defense. And you know we're in a 4-3 defense now that Jack Del Rio is our defensive coordinator, which is so great. It's so perfect for our personnel, and I'm so excited. And this is the base 4-3 defense. The defensive line, I feel like, is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, even just based off, not even assuming just from talent, based off of what we know from training camp, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and Chase Young have been working with the ones. Now, I don't believe Jonathan Allen's recent injury is any type of serious. I think they're just being precautionary with him, just like they were with Chase Young a week ago. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be ready week 1, especially since it's 13 days away anyway. So that's the starting defensive line easily. Then the outside corners, I've been hearing great things about Ronald Darby. They're saying that Jack Del Rio's system fits him perfectly. This press man with a front four that gets pressured consistently and quickly, that dominates, is perfect for Ronald Darby. His only problem really have been injuries, and he tends to get burnt deep. But with the front four getting so much pressure, he doesn't even have to cover long enough for people to be able to beat him deep. And as long as things stay in front of him, he's actually a really good corner, like Pro Bowl level talent, in my opinion. And then, of course, on the opposite side, you have Kendall Fuller. Paid him relatively big time money. Very versatile, can play slot and start an outside corner. They say he's been looking great at camp. I mean, he's even done a good job with Terry McLaurin, who's the best receiver in the NFC East. So shouts out to Kendall Fuller for getting back to the way he was when he was with us, because I don't know what happened with the Chiefs. I'm not sure if they used them wrong, if they had them playing in a weird way. I don't know. I haven't sat down and watched Chiefs film to know why Kendall Fuller was just so much less useful for them as he was for us. But apparently so far in camp, they're saying Kendall Fuller looks like the way he used to look like before we sent him to Kansas City, which is great news for us. And then the safeties, you already know Landon Collins is starting at strong safety. And I've been hearing great things about Cameron Curl as a depth piece. I mean, they saying he's always by the ball. He never makes the same mistake twice. That's what Ron Rivera said. He's had a few interceptions in this short period of training camp. So that's a great depth piece. Great rookie selection. Deep into the draft. You already know how Kyle Smith does. But then one of the biggest surprises of this offseason, if not the biggest surprise, is Trey Afke. We already know he has the athleticism. One of the fastest guys on the field every time he's on the field. If you remember, Deion Sanders went to go give him a personal dap and a hug after he ran his 40 time. Because that's how fast he ran it. But it's not just his athleticism anymore. He's actually learning the game. He's learning how to take the best angles. He's learning how to hit hard. He's learning how to tackle. He's getting his instincts up. He's getting better in coverage. They're saying that he actually looks really good out there. I've heard some positive things about Shaun Davis, but I've been hearing that Trey Afke has just been that great that Shaun Davis lost his starting opportunity. And again, they say Shaun Davis doesn't look bad. They say Cameron Curl looks really good out there also, with him being a versatile player that can play both free safety and corner. But they're saying Trey Afke just looks that good out there. And Ron Rivera says that the pace that they're playing with in practice, where it's just super speed all of the time, always hustling, always 110% effort, that the big hits just come naturally. You don't have to think about it. You're just moving so fast that you end up laying big hits. And at times, he's had hits too big on the receivers from his same team, like Terry McLaurin. And Ron Rivera basically had to tell him, hey, just let up on our guys. Do that to the other team, but just let up on our guys. You don't want to hurt Terry McLaurin. We need him. I mean, he's even forced a fumble on Logan Thomas, who was, like 6'5", well over 200 pounds. I mean, Trey Afke is out there hitting people and is doing a great job at being a rangy, deep free safety. I'm loving it. And then the linebacker group is probably the most controversial. Me personally, I don't really like Jon Bostic that much. He's obviously the least talented linebacker we have on our roster, period, as far as athleticism and all of that type of stuff. But they're saying he's the most consistent linebacker right now out of the group, so it would make sense for him to start at Mike linebacker. They say no matter how they interchange the linebackers, no matter what personnel grouping they bring in for the linebackers, Jon Bostic should usually be on the field because he's just a consistent presence and you can expect him to do pretty well. He's not going to make big plays, he's not going to blow your mind, but he's consistent and dependable. And then Shaun Hamilton, who I feel like is our starting Mike linebacker of the future between him and Cole Holcomb, is a great will linebacker option. First of all, he's pretty undersized for Mike linebacker anyway, but he's a great block shedder. He's one of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL already as long as he stays healthy. So will linebacker is perfect for him. He's going to cover the guys out of the slot, the running backs out of the backfield, all of those type of really speedy, shifty guys. That's perfect for him. And then he's one of the smartest guys on the team already, even as young as he is. Ask Nick Saban about him. So having that IQ and instincts at the will linebacker is just perfect. You just have a bunch of brains on the defense. Same with Thomas Davis, a deep veteran into this league, had an all-pro season once upon a time ago under Ron Rivera, and I think he's going to be the starting Sam linebacker for week 1. Now, when the younger guys start to improve themselves and develop, Thomas Davis probably will be dethroned. But with him being such a big leader of the defense, knowing exactly what Ron Rivera wants out of the linebacking core, or just the defense in general, can get people lined up that are not lined up where they need to be, which is something that won't happen much now that we're in the Jack Del Rio 4-3 defense in comparison to Greg Minuski defense. But just in case, Thomas Davis is that guy. So it's plenty of brains in this starting linebacker group, and I'm excited. And it's crazy because our linebacking group has to be the deepest it's ever been since I remember. I mean, London Fletcher was great, LeVar Arrington was great, but we've never had a linebacker group that was just so deep from top to bottom. I mean, Khaleke Hudson at the bottom, Kevin Pierre-Louis, all of those guys, they've said they look great in camp. And we can't forget about Cole Holcomb, the young hope that if he can improve his coverage, he could be one of the best linebackers in the league. And you can't forget about Reuben Foster if he's fully healthy, who finally came out of a leg brace recently, like 2 days ago. So he's starting to take steps forward. And if he's able to become that explosive self that we saw at Alabama and for the 49ers, he's the best linebacker in the NFC East easily. This is without a doubt the deepest linebacker core that we have had in our history that I can remember. Unless y'all know something I don't. So I'm excited. and we can play with a lot of pieces. This is maybe the starting lineup, week 1, possession 1, but there's a lot of interchangeable pieces that we can bring in for certain situations, which is great. Somebody get hurt, somebody else is ready to step up with starting level talent. You're only as good as your depth, especially with how much injuries happen in the NFL. Now moving on, I wanted to show y'all what a nickel defense will look like where you take out a linebacker and add a slot corner, because that will happen quite a bit. Of course, the defensive line, the pass rush is still there. Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Chase Young. Matt Ioannidis may come in to replace Daron Payne or Jonathan Allen if it's an obvious passing down like 3rd and long, which tends to be a situation where nickel is used anyway. But this is where Jimmy Moreland comes in. They said Jimmy Moreland has looked great in camp. I mean, Ron Rivera has personally spoken highly of him several times in press conferences. And I've heard that him and Kendall Fuller interchange who's outside corner and slot corner any given play, and they both excel at what they're doing. Jimmy Moreland can play outside or slot corner very well, and we already know Kendall Fuller can do both very well. So the fact that we can interchange those guys any given play and the offense won't know who's responsible for what could lead to a lot of interceptions for us. But again, this is the nickel defense where we take out a linebacker, bring in an extra corner, and this is where I have Shaun Hamilton, whose coverage skills are without a doubt the best on our team when healthy, and is a top 3 coverage linebacker in the NFL. This is where he has his time to shine, especially with him being naturally a great Mike linebacker with his instincts and his incredible block shedding. So this is perfect for him. And then, of course, the leader of the defense, Thomas Davis, the true vet. I expect him to stay in to be one of the other linebackers. Or maybe John Bostic. I don't know. I just don't think John Bostic is athletic enough to really split 2 halves of the field coverage-wise. Now moving on to the offense. And here's just the base. Probably the second biggest surprise so far this offseason is Geron Christian. They say he looks great. Now, we haven't gotten a chance to look at Sadiq Charles because he's been recovering from a leg injury. But they've said that Geron Christian has stepped up big. He looks way better than Cornelius Lucas. I mean, even Trent Williams, who was working out with him during the offseason, AD was also there. They spoke highly of him. Ron Rivera, Scott Turner, all of those guys have said he looks great. Morgan Moses, all of them love Geron Christian's game right now. And Geron Christian admitted a few days ago that he didn't take his first couple of years in the league seriously because he just assumed that he would never get playing time with Trent Williams and Morgan Moses starting. But now his opportunity came up and he seized it. They're saying he's really looking like a starting caliber left tackle. Very consistent, can handle his own even against Chase Young. So that's big news for us. Thank goodness for Dwayne Haskins' blind side. And then Wes Martin at left guard. Now they've been having Wes Martin at center, left guard, just interchanging them to see how versatile he is, to see who truly deserves to start. They also have other guys like Keith Ishmael and Joshua Garnett, who Ron Rivera said may be a better fit for this scheme. So there's a lot of competition at left guard. But when we had our little scrimmage simulation at FedEx Field earlier today, Wes Martin was the starting left guard, and I'm assuming he will hold down that position. And then Chase Roulier has been a very good center for us. Great pickup in the 5th or 6th round. I believe it was the 5th a couple of years ago. I mean, that's just Kyle Smith doing his thing. Same thing with Wes Martin, late round pick. Step up and take that spot from him, but they've said Morgan Moses looks pretty decent out there. He doesn't look as bad as he's looked the past couple of years because he's been dealing with a lot of injuries ever since the Alex Smith year, where we just forced him to play on 2 injured knees because literally everybody else on the offensive line was hurt. He's still been struggling since then. This is his first time going into an offseason fully healthy, so I'm not surprised he looks better. Now, great is a different story, but an improvement from the past couple of years where he's just been holding penalty after holding penalty or just not looking prepared for the snap. I don't know what goes on when he's just a turnstile and just chilling when the ball is snapped and he's just standing there frozen. But either way, they say he looks way better than what he's looked like the past couple of years, which is great news for us. And then Logan Thomas has emerged as the starting tight end for this team. They say he looks great out there. Him and Dwayne Haskins have built a great rapport together. And Haskins to Logan Thomas looks unstoppable in the red zone. It's just touchdown after touchdown. So that's great to hear. He's a pretty good blocker. Not great, but way better than Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis. And he can definitely throw the ball pretty well. Nowhere near as well as Dwayne Haskins, but if we want to run a trick play where Logan Thomas is throwing the ball, don't think of it as a tight end throwing the ball. He used to be a quarterback. He switched to tight end at the NFL level. And that's why he's still pretty raw as far as route running and all of that type of stuff. Pretty good. So I'm excited about that because Scott Turner's offense depends heavily on a dual threat tight end. Jay Gruden's did also, which is one of the main reasons we never took off offensively because he never had a dual threat tight end. We finally have one in Logan Thomas, thank goodness. And then, of course, the outside receiver is Terry McLaurin, the guy. Don't even have to speak on that. We already know what he does. Best receiver in the NFC East, will be one of the best receivers in the NFL soon. I'm expecting big things out of him. I'm talking big. And then Steven Sims in the slot. He's already locked up the slot receiver position. They say he looks great out there. And you saw last year he improved game by game. He just needed to work on his route running and his inconsistent hands. But we already know what he can do after the catch. We already know what he can do in the return game. If he takes the ball in a jet sweep or whatever, a reverse, we already know what he does once the ball is in his hands. The only thing he needs to work on is being open enough to get the ball into his hands and be able to catch it. But we saw from his improvement last year that his route running and his hands steadily improved throughout the year. And from what I'm hearing from camp, it sounds like he's looking like a top-notch slot receiver right now. Just with the occasional drops, which definitely need to be fixed. And then Dontrell Inman is our big body receiver. He doesn't have a higher ceiling than Antonio Gandy-Golden, but they say Antonio Gandy-Golden just doesn't look ready yet. They say Dontrell Inman looks far more dependable right now, especially in the red zone and on third and shorts with Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins is connected with them a lot of times. I mean, Dwayne Haskins has been putting perfect throws in areas to where only Dontrell Inman can get it. Because remember, he's 6'3", so corners just can't reach where he can reach. And Dwayne Haskins has done a great job building a rapport with them and throwing it to where only Dontrell Inman can get it. And he's been able to get it and toe tap his feet in for a lot of touchdowns in training camp. So right now he's the more dependable receiver, but he's definitely one of those guys that I'm going to keep an eye on that may lose his starting job by week 10 this season when Antonio Gandy-Golden, who has a much higher ceiling, is able to show that he's more dependable and consistent than what he currently is right now. And then, of course, the starting quarterback is Dwayne Haskins. They say Kyle Allen is only taking reps with the twos. Really, they already know he's the backup. And Alex Smith, even though he's made it this far, which is a miracle in itself, he should win comeback player of the year, even if he only plays one snap to take a knee. Just the fact that he came back and is able to walk, throw passes. There was even a moment in training camp where the pressure got to him and he was able to use his legs to roll out of the collapsing pocket and throw a great ball to somebody, very accurate on the run. So the progress he's made has been immaculate, but they say this is clearly Dwayne Haskins' team. He knows the offense just as well as everybody else, if not better. The offense is far better suited for him with his big arm, and his leadership skills are just ridiculous right now. They're saying that he looks like the guy, and I love the to be the bad guy. And to be the bad guy sometimes, to be the voice that players don't want to hear but they need to hear. There's been plays in training camp where guys were slouching, they were tired, they were gassed out. And Dwayne Haskins, not even Ron Rivera, Scott Turner, was the one in people's ears saying, we got to hurry up, go, go, go. And because of that initiative and that leadership, they had more big plays in practice because of it. I mean, it was a direct result of Dwayne Haskins keeping up the tempo and not being afraid to be the bad guy. Again, the voice that they don't necessarily want to hear, but what they need to hear to make sure everybody's in tip-top shape, moving the way they need to move, being where they need to be. So shouts out to Dwayne Haskins for becoming that leader I knew he could become. And even more, really. And then Adrian Peterson starting running back. Whenever they run the ones, the starting teams in practice so far, Adrian Peterson is the guy. Now, I'm not expecting him to be the guy at all at some point in this season because he does not fit Scott Turner's offense anywhere near as well as an Antonio Gibson, a Bryce Love, a J.D. McKenzie. I mean, Antonio Gibson is even probably a better goal line run people over running back than Adrian Peterson. But right now, Adrian Peterson is the most ready right now. Antonio Gibson needs to improve his pass protection. J.D. McKenzie just has to become a better, more balanced, better vision running back. Bryce Love just has to prove that he can stay healthy because they've said Bryce Love at his best has looked better than anybody else at their best in training camp so far. But it's just whether or not he can be consistent and stay healthy. But Ron Rivera said he looks like a 3-down, every down back. You can keep him in first, second, third down, all of it to be the premier back that takes all of the workload. They say he has that level. So we can surprise some teams by throwing the ball to Adrian Peterson because they definitely won't expect it. And he has better hands than people give him credit for. But ultimately, this offense is built for guys like Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKenzie. the guys that can do both very well. I mean, literally run receiver routes. There are going to be plays where Scott Turner tells the running back to go out wide pre-snap, just motion over to become another receiver. Not even a slot receiver. Sometimes a slot receiver, but sometimes also like literally all the way on the outside, the furthest guy to the sideline. And I just can't see Adrian Peterson doing that. But Adrian Peterson is definitely the most ready. You can depend on him. He's still a 1,000-yard running back easily. He should have had him last year, but Jay Gruden hated by sitting him week 1 for no reason. And he's good at pass protection. The only thing I'm worried about is his like very random fumbling. But other than that, Adrian Peterson is definitely the most ready running back right now. Maybe not for Scott Turner's system. And maybe that's not what somebody like me wants to hear right now. But that's what we need right now. And Adrian Peterson week 1. But again, I don't expect that to last too long, once the other guys improve in the various areas I previously discussed. Now moving on to 12 personnel. 12. 1 running back, 2 tight ends. 1, 2. And pretty much everything is the same. I just took Dontrell Inman out because I believe if they're running a personnel like this, when they have 2 tight ends, they probably want more speed on the outside with Steven Sims. I don't know though. Maybe Dontrell Inman. But that part's not really important. The really important part of this is who the second tight end is. And they're saying that other than Logan Thomas, Marcus Ball looks to be that guy at tight end. They say he's the most freakishly athletic guy out of the tight end group. And his potential is infinite. And they say he already looks pretty good and he's only going to get way better over time. So that's great news to hear that we have 2 dual threat tight ends that the sky's the limit for, and they're only going to improve over time. That's big time for us. We went from having 0 dual threat tight ends to possibly having 2. That's going to literally change our offense. Remember with Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis, when they were on the field, we were more than likely throwing the ball. Defenses knew that. Or if we ran the ball, Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis were just getting ran over by the guy they were responsible for blocking anyway, and the running play would get stuffed early. Then with Jeremy Sprinkle, they knew we were more than likely running the ball, and defenses brought more to the box to stop the run. Because if we passed the ball, Butterfingers Jeremy Sprinkle was going to more than likely drop the pass anyway. So having not only 1 dual threat tight end, but 2 is literally going to make our offense look completely different. As far as efficiency goes, third downs, red zone, everything. Defenses will not be able to predict what we're doing. First of all, because Scott Turner's offense is extremely complicated for defenses to understand, predict. But then the fact that we have dual threat tight ends also hides our intention. So I'm excited about that. And then just for the fun of it, from what I've heard in training camp, J.D. McKissic and Antonio Gibson out there at the same time has been unstoppable. I'm assuming it's probably something we can't run all of the time. But say, for instance, we need speed on the field for like a 2-minute drill or something. We got Terry McLaurin, who runs a 4.35 40-yard dash. Steven Sims, who runs a 4.35. They say he actually recorded a 4.30, but, you know, they added another 0.05 just because of unofficial times at pro days and stuff. They're just not sure how accurate it was. But they say at the very least, at the slowest, he runs a 4.35. Dontrell Inman is 6'3", runs a 4.47, which is faster than Christian McCaffrey. Antonio Gibson is 6 foot. I've heard he's actually 6'2", and almost 230 pounds, and he runs a 4.39, which is a whole 0.1 faster than Christian McCaffrey, who ran a 4.49. And then, even though J.D. McKissic ran a 4.50 40 time, which is only 0.01 slower than Christian McCaffrey, he runs way faster than that on the field. I don't know why his 40 time is so bad. I haven't investigated it, but he's clearly way faster than that. He's a speed demon. So this speed on the field right here, shotgun, which Dwayne Haskins is most comfortable in from running at Ohio State, fast pace, hurry up offense from the shotgun, 2 running backs that are both running backs and receivers. This looks unstoppable in a 2-minute drill, honestly. And again, we may not use this often, but definitely expect to see something similar to this with 2 running backs in shotgun and a lot of speed throughout the team. I mean, again, as far as the running backs and receivers go, the slowest guy is probably Dontrell Inman, who is 6'3" and ran a 4.47 40 time, which is ridiculous. I just don't see how a defense can keep up, especially when they're tired, heading into halftime, they're gassed out, and they need this halftime to take a breather. Us running a hurry-up shotgun 2-minute offense is just going to be dot after big chunk of run play, all kinds of stuff. Scott Turner is going to love this formation. I've heard it already looks great in training camp. I haven't had a chance to see it, but I've heard great things about Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissic on the field at the same time. Literally unstoppable, almost a touchdown every play type of thing. I'm so excited about this team's future. The defense we already know is going to be dominant. Should be a top 5 defense in this league. We have arguably the best defensive line in the league. Easily top 3 at the very least. Our linebacker core is the deepest it's been probably ever. I mean, we have starters off the bench everywhere. Our corners look way better than what we expected coming into this training camp. Jimmy Moreland has made huge strides from his rookie season, and Kendall Fuller looks to be back in the elite slot corner form that he was in before he went to the Chiefs. And then Trey Afke, the biggest surprise of training camp, looks like that deep single high free safety that we've been waiting for Monte Nicholson to become for the longest. And then Landon Collins, Jack Del Rio's going to use him similar to how he used TJ Ward for the Broncos, to where he won't be in coverage as much as Greg Minuski had him in. He's going to be more so in the box, mixing it up and making tackles, which is what he's best at. Being in the backfield and making plays, which I'm excited about. This defense literally brings out the best in everybody. But don't sleep on the offense now. This offense won't be as sluggish and awkward and as far behind the defense as we think. I think we're going to come out hitting pretty hard week 1. And of course, we're going to get better and better as the receivers, as the tight ends get better, as Jerron Christian gets better, even though he already looks pretty good. Same thing for Wes Martin. Dwayne Haskins is only going to get better and better. And eventually when Antonio Gibson, Bryce Love, and J.D. McKissic become great enough to move Adrian Peterson down the depth chart, we're going to reach our full potential in this offense. But I feel like even week 1, we're ready to do some great things. And offensive line-wise alone, they've been practicing against one of the best, if not the best, defensive lines in the league, period. Without a doubt, the most athletic, easily. So the fact that they've been holding their own against them is going to make their job so much easier when we actually play other teams. They're going to be like, hey, man, this is way easier than what I deal with in practice. So I'm expecting the offensive line to be further ahead than what people expect coming in. And we already know Terry McLaurin's about to be the best receiver in the NFC East. He's about to only get better and improve on from what he did last year. And of course, like I said, Dwayne Haskins looks like that dude now. And I can't wait, not only for us as Burgundy and Gold fans to see, but everybody around the league, especially the guys that think Daniel Jones is better than him, or Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz. They'll see that Dwayne Haskins will be the best quarterback in his division. And he already kind of looks like it in training camp. I mean, they said he looks like that dude and should be like a top 10 quarterback in this league easily. So I'm excited. I think this offense, again, will surprise people week 1. I don't think it's going to be as sluggish and far behind the defense as people think. Now, of course, the defense, with it being potentially a top 5 unit in this league, I'm not expecting our offense to be top 5. But with Scott Turner's scheme, which I fully break down in my Scott Turner offense breakdown, with it having so much trickery, with it being so ambiguous, and defenses have no idea what's going on from snap to snap between personnel groupings, formations, weird formations, motions pre-snap all of the time from anybody. I feel like that alone, even if we didn't have the talent, should be able to get a lot of yards and put up points. But then the talent is producing way better than I thought, especially the offensive line. So I'm excited. I really wish we had Kelvin Harmon in the mix, but I've heard pretty good things from Cam Sims, as always with the summer. But hopefully this coaching staff can actually make him a consistent guy beyond training camp. I've heard Trey Quinn actually looks better than what people expected, especially me. I thought he may not make the team. I've heard great things about Isaiah Wright, undrafted free agent. And you got to remember, we have Thaddeus Moss in the refrigerator. He's on injured reserve. So when he's fully healthy next season, I'm expecting him to have a huge impact. And don't forget Hell Hinges, speaking of tight end, he sounds like he's our starting fullback, which is great because he's also a pretty good receiving tight end with a lot of potential. So this offense has a lot of layers to it, a lot of talent, and I'm expecting big things early. I'm going to be honest. At first, if you would have asked me a few months ago, I would have been right with y'all where I'm like, I don't know. But based on what I've heard and seen from training camp and how much I know Scott Turner's offense in and out, front to back, I'm expecting big things out of this offense early on. But that's the end of this video. I appreciate the view. Please like the video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Please subscribe if you haven't. Definitely hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release a video like this, every time I plan a live stream ahead of time, every time I start live streaming, all of that type of stuff. And of course, big shout out to all of my sponsors, especially the Pro Bowl sponsors whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now. Big shout out to everybody who donates to the channel. Again, all of y'all donations and contributions through the memberships are going right back into the stream. Improved camera quality, improved mic quality. The stream is more active and creative. Sundays are going to be so fun. I have all of my gifts and sounds ready for certain situations. And again, I appreciate all of the support. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.